Xbox is shutting down 4 Bethesda studios. I'm pulling from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. Microsoft's Xbox gaming division will shut down 4 subsidiaries, including the game studio Arcane Austin, according to an email reviewed by Bloomberg. Arcane Austin's most recent game, Redfall, was one of Microsoft's biggest flops last year. The company said it'll end development on the game and provide make-good offers to players who pre-purchase content that will never be released. Xbox will also shutter subsidiaries Alpha Dog Studios, Roundhouse Games, and Tango Gameworks, the Japanese studio behind critically acclaimed hits such as Hi-Fi Rush. Roundhouse Games will be absorbed by ZeniMax Online Studios, the maker of The Elder Scrolls Online. Quote, "These changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds, which you have nurtured over many decades," wrote Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, in an email to employees on Tuesday. Booty did not say how many people will lose their jobs as a result of the shutdowns. He also noted that, quote, "Bethesda remains one of the key pillars of Xbox, with upcoming titles such as Starfield expansion and a new game based on Indiana Jones planned for later this year." Tim, where do you want to start with this?
I mean, just starting by saying what we always say, which this is incredibly unfortunate and such sad news. And I hate morning after morning waking up, checking Slack and seeing, yep, this is what we're talking about today. And that's us just being upset about talking about it. It's not the dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people losing their jobs today. And this one's different, right? This one, I feel like none of us would have seen coming. And I struggle to make sense of it in any way, shape, or form, specifically when it comes to Tango. But you then look even at the Arcane situation, and you're like, really? We've talked for years about Xbox setting up the dominoes, Xbox setting up its games and stuff. We're talking about 2 studios that just put out some of the most recent games. And granted, Redfall didn't live up to expectations. Hi-Fi Rush absolutely destroyed any metric we could possibly look at and talk about, right? And if it didn't, what were those metrics? What happened here? How could this possibly get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about prioritizing high-impact titles. That's the justification they give. And I've been on Twitter a lot, right? There's so many tweets that we can dive into. Barrett has pulled up here Aaron Greenberg, a tweet from last year talking about Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango delivered with the surprise release. I think on top of that, we also have like the sales numbers of Hi-Fi Rush. I think the last time we checked in, it was like 4 million or something, which is incredible when you're talking about a surprise release of that scale, right?
Oh, period.
It's like 8 hours,
incredible.
Yeah, period, right? But then, yeah, an 8-hour game. It was almost like a side project for Tango Gameworks, right? Like they've been putting in so much work on Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo and stuff, right? But it is this like, hey, we've been working on this as a passion project, and they put it out, and it becomes successful. When you want to talk about awards, critical acclaim, and all that stuff, it's hitting all those marks. And when we talk about the dominoes falling, that seems like one of the major dominoes. Oh shit, you got something that you're working with here. You got something magical here. You got something that, with the power of Xbox Game Pass, can maybe thrive, can maybe make even a lot of sense for you business-wise in terms of
a franchise.
Yeah, something that you bet, I think, most, if not all, the fan base that played Hi-Fi Rush wanted to see more from it. Oh man, I can't wait for a Hi-Fi Rush 2. I remember talking about on the review, me and Mike being like, "Yo, this is a new Xbox mascot.
Yep,
hey, this is a character. These are characters you could put in a Smash Brothers, or if you wanted to make like an Xbox party game featuring your major characters." Hi-Fi Rush and how they introduced Chai in 808. Oh, that seems like that right there. And so to close down Tango, I think is shocking, weird. There was another article talking about how I'm conflating it because I'm thinking of coming off of Redfall. They talked about how with Arcane Austin, they want to continue to they don't want to shut them down. They want to continue to foster them. So that's a separate thing. But I believe I even saw stuff about Tango Gameworks from Xbox saying that, yeah, we want to continue to foster the studio. So this totally goes against all of that. But then, for me, jumping to the Arcane Austin side, of course, Redfall was not a hit. Redfall came out, like you mentioned, it's a fucking flop. But that is also coming from a studio that is part of the Arcane family. Before Redfall, we're talking about Prey. Prey was a fucking great-ass video game, right? Maybe not like the standout or breakout success that maybe Bethesda wanted it to be, but it was a game that I think the more you sat with it, the more over time it started to get more and more of that like cult following and a cult fan base. And for me, and I think for everybody actually, I'm I was so excited to see how Arcane Austin follows up. All right, let's get this Redfall multiplayer live service style thing push it to the side. Let's not do another Redfall. Let's get you back on what you do well. Make another immersive sim. Make another like single player game. Work with Arcane Leon just to maybe support them on what they're doing. Shutting them down also is like just a really like you're shutting them down over, and I not even assuming that it's based on Redfalls they're shutting them down, right? But like shutting them down, I guess after they swing and they miss on a thing that very obviously was not their passion project, right? Very obviously this was a thing from higher ups being, hey, we need more multiplayer. Hey, we need a fucking Wolfenstein Youngblood. We need a Fallout 76. We need one from you, Arcane Austin. And they put that out and it doesn't work. And they go, all right, well, bye. Like, so much of it just doesn't make sense to me.
And when you look at specifically these teams and the projects they worked on and how we can get here where these are the teams that they decided to close, it doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense because of how varied these are. Like, we're looking at these things as whether they're a success, a failure, anywhere in between, maybe successes in some ways, failures in others. You add the Game Pass ecosystem to it all that, you know, they need to have some level of protection of, hey, the sales expectations are going to be changed because of the Game Pass side of things that will affect sales, whatever. But then you look at Hi-Fi Rush and it's like 4 million. If 4 million is not enough sales of a video game to be able to be considered a success for the type of game that is, we really need to readjust what our metrics of success are. And then on the other side, to your point about Arcane doing Redfall, if the pivot is, hey, we got to make these type of games because that's where the money is, where's the money then? Where's it coming in? Like, it seems like if it's not working, it's not working. Yeah. And granted, I understand that like people are trying to make it work and it's not like they're going out of their way to make bad decisions. You know, they are hoping that this is going to result in more money. But clearly that's not the way that this is going to happen right now. So looking at it, I think the extra level of this is cool. We just talked about Tango from the hi-fi perspective. Then we just talked about Arcane from the more leaning into the live service games as a service, multiplayer, whatever the fuck you want to call it, monetization strategy instead of making a video game. But then there's also the fact that now Xbox no longer has a Japan studio. Tango was their one. Am I right about that?
I believe so.
Yeah, in-house at least. Really quick, just before we continue with the argument of Hi-Fi Rush sales, they don't report sales. There's 4 million players.
Okay.
So that's across Game Pass.
Very different.
Buying it on Xbox and people buying it on Steam.
Okay. Incredibly different then, you know? So we don't know like how much of a success is. That's still a lot of players, but players don't equal money, and money is the thing that's needed for...
And that calls into the question, what is the true value of Game Pass?
Yeah. I mean, it's the best value in gaming, right? To the people playing the games. Like, that's what it is, but you need to be able to have that be sustainable as a business model, or else it's just a mistake that is only going to cause more and more problems over time. And like, that's the thing is like, we don't know the answers to this stuff. Like, everyone's just trying to figure it out, but this doesn't sound good. This doesn't sound like this is working. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. Looking for the perfect gift to celebrate the moms in your life? Aura Frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app, and if you're giving an Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. Greg, Kevin, and a ton of people here at Kinda Funny are obsessed with their Aura frames. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. You can add unlimited photos and videos and invite as many people as you want to a frame. Aura displays photos in true color and automatically adjusts for the light level of the room. At night, when you turn off the lights, your frame also turns off to save energy. From grandmothers to new mothers, aunts, and even the friends in your life, every mom would love an Aura frame. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com and use code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun playing a lot of Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I am out and about looking dope. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break a pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. I'm currently planning a wedding, so I know all about that. But when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. You can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace, and it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
I keep zeroing in on the part where they say that these changes are grounded in prioritizing high impact titles. So Hi-Fi Rush doesn't count to them as a high impact title. Like, where does Pentiment fall in that? Where do you like where I go?
Grounded.
I don't understand. I feel like there are conflicting messages coming from Xbox directly when we hear them talk. When we hear the ideas of, hey, because Xbox Game Pass, we can put out games at different scale. We can allow our creators to do what they want. Bear, are you just bringing
I'm
up
just bringing this up again.
Gotcha.
You know, just to hit the nail in the coffin.
But yeah, like, if the strategy of Xbox is to put out high impact titles, and that is why we're seeing these studio closures, I guess I just don't understand anything at all about the way Xbox is operating.
Here's the thing. I think the reality is they are trying to get there, but there is just a lot of, when you acquire a bunch of teams, not just a team, you didn't necessarily acquire it for the entire system. You're acquiring it for specific things, and then you're going to make the cuts, and you're trying to steer the ship to create the new ship you want. And the problem is, acquiring Bethesda and acquiring Activision Blizzard so close together, there is just so much redundancy, as we've seen, but also strategic redundancy, I'm sure, or things that don't align perfectly with the strategy that they have. A lot of the projects that we were talking about happened before the Bethesda Xbox merger. So it's like Redfall, you got to imagine, was not...
Of course.
Like, you know
like
what I
Phil
mean?
Spencer talked about that in the interview.
Hi-Fi Rush. Like, I don't remember the exact timeline, but
that would have been, before Xbox.
So it's like, cool. A lot of these things, maybe it's just a sign of like, yeah, like this was kind of just in the works already for a bigger, wider plan that they have. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. But like, the thing is, when there's just so many things at play, there needs to be some type of organization for it. And this is what we've been talking about of like, what is Xbox Game Studios? Why is there also Bethesda with all its teams and Activision with all its teams? Guess what? After today, not so much, is there?
Yeah.
Right? What's left of Bethesda?
The thing that frustrates me is you are acquiring so many studios, right? Like I've chat, let me know the number of studios that Xbox owns at this point. And you acquire the entirety of Bethesda, ZeniMax, you acquire Activision Blizzard, you are creating this new strategy that we've talked up, right? Like, I think there is a strong vision there in terms of, hey, we can make the subscription service that makes it more about having an audience and an ecosystem and having an audience that is bought into it and being able to build value there, as opposed to having to put out the biggest games of the year every single year and having to dominate the space because I think to some extent that's unsustainable. I'm surprised that PlayStation's been able to like do that for this long, but even we're looking over at PlayStation, we're like, yeah, like you're struggling too, right? We saw the leaks. There's not like, that is just an unsustainable way to go about things. Barrett's brought up the entire family of studios.
I don't
or the
have like a
organization
number
chart.
here, but just as a visual showing of
Yeah.
like how many studios they're in charge of and how many people's lives they're in charge of.
I mean, but then just look at Bethesda right now, and like look at after today what that looks like.
Yeah.
Very different. Halved.
I think the vision of what Microsoft has been setting up is strongest when you don't have to do the thing where you're going, hey, we only want to focus on the high impact titles. Because if that's the case, then you're doing this all wrong. If that's the case, you shouldn't have bought all these studios. You should have been like, you should have either, I don't know, they've tried to foster studios, right? We have the studio that's making Perfect Dark. But like, you should be fostering those studios or picking and choosing, going, all right, we need to buy the fucking banger studios that we know are going to put out those high impact titles and give them a bunch of money and a bunch of time if that's going to be your strategy. You don't buy out all these fucking studios.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem.
And shut half
But
of them down.
That's just not how it works, though. You buy Bethesda, you get all of them. You don't get to pick and choose. Oh, I just want to buy.
Well, then don't
Arcane
do
Austin.
Bethesda. Like,
But that's the thing, though. Bethesda was selling.
Mhm.
Somebody was going to buy them, and Xbox did. Like, again, I'm not defending any of this. I'm just saying it's like at a certain point, it's like they don't get to just pick and choose. Oh, we want that team to do this thing. That's just not. They're not going to sell that way. You know, there's always a bigger fish of somebody that's like, no. You're going to buy all this stuff even if you don't want it. And like that's the thing is like, did they not want it, or like did they just make the most of Tango for the time that they had, and then they're just like, all right, it's time to move on.
In terms of if this was just Bethesda, I would get it. But they've also spent so much money in the last couple of years trying to acquire Activision, in which they did. And I feel like that expansion is also like not taking care of what they already had under their belt in terms of Bethesda and Xbox. And so like it's a whole it's a bigger conversation than I think what you two are talking about right now. But it's just like, why would you spend and waste so much money trying to expand when you're wearing yourself too thin, when you can't even take care of the studios that are already under your fucking house?
Because Call of Duty, to make the money, to be able to keep going. Like we're looking at this place. I'm not even joking about that. Like they need winners right now. Their strategies aren't working. And I'm not just saying Xbox. PlayStation strategy, not working. We saw how much money it cost to make Spider-Man and what the actual profit margins and all that looks like. It's not working to be putting out these incredibly high budget games. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like all the talk about it, like it's not working to sell these games at the level that they're being made. And then the other side, Game Pass strategy, not working.
yeah.
They need to everyone needs to find something that works,
Yeah.
or else there's no games, or else it all falls apart, or else every studio gets closed. So I don't know, man. It's tragic. It is very scary right now because it does not seem like anybody has enough power, responsibility, and vision to understand where the money's actually at. And the other thing is the money's shifting. The money is shifting in where and how it is being made and spent in video games. And, you know, you got to take risks, but I feel like a lot of these choices made were either not risky enough or they were just very short-term risks.
I want to bring in some super chats, of course. You can go over to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and super chat on YouTube. I'm going to start with Optimus Prime, who writes in and says, as an Xbox guy, I'm so tired of the rake stepping. I want to believe in the plan, but shit like this makes it so hard. RIP Hi-Fi Rush 2. More importantly, all this loss of talent, make it make sense. Yeah, I mean, like, as much as I am saddened by, like, probably not getting a follow-up to Hi-Fi Rush 2, I think the loss of talent, it can't be emphasized enough how, like, damaging this is for long-term growth, for what we talk about in terms of how important institutional knowledge is for game development and for being able to grow into studios that are able to do incredible things. We've seen what Larian was able to get to with Baldur's Gate 3. The reason why they've been able to do that is because Larian's been Larian for a very long time and they've been growing with every game. We talk about Nintendo with like Tears of the Kingdom, and there's a lot of talk online, I think GDC stuff, about how, oh yeah, we're able to do this because we have retained the people that know how to make all this stuff work, right? Like, we've made so many games, and so getting to this point where we're able to create on this level is because we have been able to retain this talent. Yeah, I think that's a huge loss right there. We got another one from Kenneth Fox, who writes in and says, I think it is clear from the news that consolidation is bad for the industry. Microsoft's decision to try and gobble up the industry is not working out.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that. It's like, yeah, like, until we see things work, there's no good answer.
Yeah. Siddharth writes in and says, what do you think is going to happen to Ninja Theory after Hellblade 2's release? Because it looks like Tamim took the parachute, not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting, right? I do think that it's different. Like, I feel like a lot of what we're talking about today is the fact that this is the games that we're talking about, the studios we're talking about, were all projects that seemingly were before the merge happened. Hellblade 2, not the case, right? Hellblade 2 was like very much a Xbox focused endeavor, and I feel like are taking it, they're seeing it differently, and I feel like Xbox was able to scope that out beginning to end with their understandings and parameters. Does that protect them? Absolutely not.
Do you think they look at that as a high impact title? Do you think they include that?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Probably not.
Because I mean, they mentioned that it's the same length as Hellblade 1, which is probably like 7 to 8 hours. It also costs less full price. And so I would really love clarification. I don't know if it's out there yet of what they mean when they say high impact. Does that mean it has to be Starfield, Indiana Jones, Call of Duty level? Are we not focusing on that? Are Pentiments a no-go now?
Yeah, like we won't know unless we're inside those meetings. But the way that they have propped up Hellblade, which, correct me if I'm wrong, like the first game was an independent game, right? Like that team was independent when they, like, I think it was like a PlayStation exclusive at the time. But they've propped up Hellblade 2 as like a big marquee title. It was like their first big showcase of a next-gen game. They've been showcasing it for years. So it at least what they're giving, like putting out into the world, they expect this to be a huge marquee title for them, when in reality, it is the sequel to an independent game. And so I think there's a major disconnect in actual, like, expectations of what they want these games to do and realistically what they're actually probably going to do.
Yeah.
Like Imran put up the tweet of, and I'll bring this back up, and I'll read it for the audio listeners. Hey, imagine being Ninja Theory today. They could drop the best game of the year this month and still close down if someone at Microsoft moves their arbitrary, well, it's not Call of Duty numbers goalposts. And that's where I feel like every single smaller team under Xbox should be feeling right now. And it's fucking scary.
I mean, bigger teams too. Like that's the problem with this. Is like, this is absolutely true. But guess what? It could happen to Naughty Dog as well. Like, I just feel like we're at this point that no one is safe, and no one should feel safe. Not a single person in video games should feel safe right now. And that fucking sucks. Like, things need to change so that people can feel safe making these games, or else why would anybody ever want to do this and continue to do this? And at some point, be able to do this.
I mean, to your point, right? The Uncharted Wolf writes in and says, at this point, who's safe? I feel like unless you're from Software or Nintendo, you're at a major risk of company closure, even when putting out a game of the year. And like, Nintendo Studios could close too, right? Like, we've not heard as many of these stories from the Nintendo side of things. And like, I think historically, we understand that Nintendo takes a little bit more care in terms of trying not to lay people off. There have been layoffs, especially like in Nintendo of America. We've seen issues within the last 4 or 5 years, especially like talking about Keyway and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, to your point, I think nobody's safe. I don't think a From Software is going to shut down, but I don't think that a From Software couldn't have layoffs. You know what I mean? Let's see here. CJ Splitson says, please read Dinga's statement. I actually had it DM'd to myself because I was meaning to pull it up. I have it here. I'll read through it. Dinga Bakaba, who is the lead over at Arcane Leon, he put up a Twitter thread that reads, "This is absolutely terrible. Permission to be human. To any executive reading this, friendly reminder that video games are an entertainment/cultural industry, and your business as a corporation is to take care of your artists/entertainers and help them create value for you. Don't throw us into gold fever gambits. Don't use us as strawmen for miscalculations/blind spots. Don't make our work environments Darwinist jungles. You say we make you proud when we make a good game. Make us proud when times are tough. We know you can. We've seen it before. For now, great teams are sunsetting before our eyes again, and it's a fucking gut stab. Leon is safe, but please be tactful and discerning about all this, and respect affected folks' voice, and leave it room to be heard. It's their story to tell, their feelings to express. Inside baseball, but if I read, quote, immersive sim curse from the community, especially from a fellow dev, I swear to God, please, let's talk about the real challenges instead of rehashing irrational anxieties of the past. Even more inside baseball, but with a very, very wide range. As a wise and sorely missed man said, quote, please stop. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And just to be clear, I saw some people saying in the chat, like, there's no way Naughty Dog closes. I'm not saying that they would close or From Software would close. I do think that big swaths of their team can get laid off at any second for whatever reason. And I think that
people from those teams, or at least in the case of Naughty Dog, they have.
Yep, totally. So,
we have even more super chats coming in. But give me a second. My thing is doing a weird thing. Is bringing up a menu and blocking the thing. We have one from Reg Giller who says, "Wonder if this is Microsoft laying pressure on Xbox."
Yeah, I mean, totally. Look, Microsoft just had some of the most major layoffs we've ever seen in the world. Period. Like in history. So, adding on to that, of course, they're trying to find money, and the thing is, they're trying to take Xbox seriously. They're trying to make sure that it is making money, that it is a big arm of their company and their success and their bottom line and the money of it all. And that comes from pressure, and that comes from like, hey, you don't just get money to just try things out. Like, this needs to be working, and this is all signs that it's not working.
And then we have one from War Table Entertainment says, this really sucks, and how's the industry is going to this really sucks and how's the industry is going. Movies are doing the same thing. Paramount wants to sell to WB or Sony.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we've been talking about this for years on the movie side as well, but like it's happening. It's not like a potential future. It's like you look at the state of Hollywood and business and how movies are made, and as the rise of streaming services and the streaming wars that we are still currently in, but we are now in the kind of like aftermath of like phase 1 of this, of what it all looks like. And we have movies just coming out into theaters, and then 3 weeks later coming to streaming services. Guess what? Movies are not going to be made on that scale for long if this trend continues. Like, we have poisoned the well so bad that like things are just going to have to change. Movies are going to be funded differently. Then they're going to have to make different metrics of success to figure out what even counts, what's going to fund the next project, what works, what's even worth doing. And that's why we see this renaissance of very low budget horror movies. This happens once every like 10 years of this new cycle of very, very, very like powerful horror movies come up with new ideas, because it's a reaction to all these changes in the massive Hollywood blockbuster ballooning of things that everyone's like, hey, but we can do something smaller for much less and actually say something. People get excited about that. They show up, the money gets there, but then those things rise and create the trend over and over and over. It's happening in video games. It's happened before, but it's never happened on this scale, and consumers have never demanded more for less. And the people selling us things are telling us we should be getting everything at all times for just a low subscription cost of $5 a month, which then turns to $6, which then turns to $7, which then turns to $20 overnight.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, yeah. But hey, like, you're getting all of this stuff, though, without thinking about the cost of making that stuff and making sure that that stuff is good and worth doing.
Yeah.
Sucks, man.
Tim, we're going to talk more about this over on the Kind of Funny, I was going to say XCast, but it's the Gamescast now, but it will be an Xbox episode, the Kind of Funny Gamescast with Greg, Paris, and Gary Whitta. And so for now, we're going to move on to story number 2. But before we do, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindoffunny and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can get the Kind of Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free, and allows us to keep the lights on. If you're hearing all this and you're like, oh man, that's scary, guess what? You can support us because, hey, things are tough out here. But yeah, patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames if you want to do that. Oh, and speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. Looking for the perfect gift to celebrate the moms in your life? Aura Frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app, and if you're giving an Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. Greg, Kevin, and a ton of people here at Kind of Funny are obsessed with their Aura frames. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. You can add unlimited photos and videos and invite as many people as you want to a frame. Aura displays photos in true color and automatically adjusts for the light level of the room. At night, when you turn off the lights, your frame also turns off to save energy. From grandmothers to new mothers, aunts, and even the friends in your life, every mom would love an Aura frame. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com and use code KINDOFFUNNY at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun playing a lot of Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I am out and about looking dope. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break a pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. I'm currently planning a wedding, so I know all about that. But when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. You can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace, and it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
And we're back with story number 2